Hello everybody, welcome back to Driven Dave. I'm really happy to have you with me today. Do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. Today is a video that I've made, I don't know, I think this is my third attempt at making this video. Every time I make it, something happens, I get delayed, whatever. I tried to do this at 12 months, and here we are at approximately 15 months. So I'm sorry, I have failed you, but I wanted to kind of do my 1-year ownership report of my 2022 Tesla Model 3. It's now January of 2024. I took delivery of this car at the very end of September in 2022. So I drove it for all of 2022. Well, September to September, 22 to 23, and then October, November, December. And here we are at the beginning of January. So maybe it's the beginning of the 16th month, but you get the idea. In that time, before I tell you how many miles I've done, I've seen a lot of videos online and they, hey, welcome back. 1 year and 15,000 miles. We've really put this to the test. No, you haven't. I'm not impressed. Or like, wow, we've done 22,000 miles. No, not impressed. At 12 months, I had done 43,000 miles. And now I'm at 55,312 miles. So, I don't mean to be snooty about my high mileage, but there you have it. I've already blown through the factory warranty. The bumper-to-bumper warranty is gone. The only thing that remains is, let me see. I think if I go to software, I forgot where it is. But anyway, I still have a warranty. I've got the Drivetrain warranty, which I believe is 120,000 miles, or 8 years or something like that. I've got the dual motor. So it's the long range dual motor. I think the warranty is slightly different on the standard range plus. So there you have it. But, I have to say I was able to use a good bit of the factory warranty, which was very helpful. So the first thing let's talk about is performance. Car is fast. It is very fast. It was very fast when I got it. And thanks to some referral credits, I was able to get the performance boost, whatever it's called. I think it says right here. It is the acceleration boost, my bad. So that drops 0 to 60 from 4.2 seconds to 3.7 seconds. And man, oh man, can you feel it? It is fast. And in 55,000 miles, it still rips my head off. It's fast. And of course, I'd love to have the Plaid, but this is pretty good. I generally have more than enough power to do anything that I want to do. There's no shortage of power with this car. It's great. So I don't know what to tell you. It drives just as good as the day I got it. So that's really awesome. Let's talk about battery life. I generally charge to 80% every day, sometimes to 90, and sometimes to 100. I know you're not supposed to, but I do it anyway. It's my car. I paid for the pack, and I'm going to use it. And sometimes I take my pack down to 6%. It's my battery. I'm going to do it. I want to use all of it. And that being said, I am careful. I do try and follow the recommended procedures and everything, but I do use the pack and I do supercharge it when I need to. So I try not to think about it. I just use my car. I paid a lot of money for it and I use my car. The estimated range when it was new was 358 miles from all the way full to all the way empty. It's really impossible to test that. A lot of non-EV people, whenever we talk, they're like, how many miles do you get? I don't know. At what point during the day does your cell phone turn off? Give me exactly how many minutes. So I try and think of this as like a cell phone battery. So it has to do with how I use it and all of that. So, I've never seen anywhere close to 358. No, not at all. Now after all these miles, and really, I think it was after 15,000 miles, it had already dropped to an estimated 338. And that number is pretty much held since then. I don't think it's changed a whole lot, if at all. But again, I never see anywhere close to that either. So, I would say if I had to estimate, because I usually don't really keep track, I'd say like 250 miles, and then I need to charge, you know, is a pretty like real world accurate thing. I mean, it's plenty to go wherever I need to go during the day. If I need to charge, I charge. Day to day, if we're just talking like charging experience, this is a much better experience than having a gas car for me. And I don't want to get in the you need to get an EV thing, because I would never want to push this on anybody. And I still love gas cars. So I'm a car guy. I love EVs and I love gas cars. If I could still have my Corvette here, I would. If I could still have my LS400 here, I would. I'd also get a Dodge Charger, Hellcat, you know, whatever you call it, with 800 horsepower. I'd have one of those too. And I'd have an F350, and I'd have a Model X, and I'd have, I don't know, I'd have a bunch of stuff. I'd have a Rivian, I'd have a Lucid. I like cars. Get the picture? So with all that in mind, please keep all of that in mind. For the charging experience, this thing is awesome. It's at 79% right now. I'm at my house. Charging is complete. I mean, I know that right now it's claiming 268 miles until empty, and I don't have to go to the gas station, you know. And for anything I'm going to do locally, which includes lots of 50, 60, 70 mile one-way trips, you know, like I'm good. I've got enough miles. I can get there. I can get back. I never have to stop at a gas station. So 98% of the time, you're never going to have to fill up, you know what I mean? Or fill up or charge anywhere. Sometimes if you're at a place where there's a level 2 charger, hey, might as well top it off, plug it in. But I love the charging experience. Once you're set up, it's great. It's not cheap here in LA, so keep that in mind. If you get a time of use meter, there's a bunch of extra fees and stuff, but maybe there's some rebates. Just look into all of that before you get one. That's what I'd recommend. But charging at home is great. Any EV is awesome if you can charge it at home. If you can't charge it at home, don't get an EV, in my humble opinion. You're not going to like it. So, you know, just keep all of that in mind. It's great if you can charge, but if you can't, it would not be good. The supercharger network is great. It has never let me down. I've only come across 2 broken chargers. They were at the same place, and there were at least like 50 other available chargers. Like seriously, it was not a problem. Tesla really does a good job of maintaining their network, and it's constantly growing. So I'm excited to see like new installations, and I hope there are more and more as we move forward. I mean, it's still, there could be more. I admit, you know, there are some spots where there's not a whole lot of coverage, especially like the summer I drove up to Humboldt State, or Cal Poly Humboldt. And there were a couple of stretches where there were only like some like 75 kilowatt or V2 stations. So, and it was like, that was the last one. So if you didn't charge there, you were going to be in trouble. So I'm sure there's some spots in the country where they're not great coverage like that. So just be sure to do your due diligence. But for the most part, I think you can drive pretty much anywhere with one of these Teslas. It is pretty great. And in terms of like waiting in line to charge, because I've had a lot of people say, oh, I'm not waiting 30 minutes to charge and this and that. I can count the number of times I've had to wait. It's been maybe 3 or 4 times out of 55,000 miles. And I usually waited 5 minutes, maybe 10. So it really wasn't bad. Now, it's not the most convenient thing. So if waiting 3 or 4 times in a year is going to be a problem for you, then okay, I don't blame you. I understand. But I got to tell you, I spent a lot more time waiting at the Arco station trying to fill up my van, you know, or at the Costco trying to save a few bucks. I waited longer than that, you know, to fill up with gas. You know, you can make the argument it's easy to fill up with gas and that's quick, but sometimes you have to wait for the pump too. So, again, not taking sides. I'm just saying, let's be realistic. So I love the charging experience. It's not a problem. I usually need a nap. So if I have to charge for 10 minutes, I take a power nap. If it's 15 minutes, it's an even better nap. And if it's 20 minutes, it's a really good nap. So I don't know what to tell you. The only thing that could be better, I will add, a lot of the superchargers are within like walking distance of a Starbucks or something, but a lot of them aren't. Some of them have no trash cans, some of them have no bathrooms, no coffee. So I would like to see the amenities be thought out a little bit better with some of those superchargers. But if I had to choose between amenities and a supercharger, obviously I'd love to have the supercharger. Software updates. That's a pretty cool thing. This is a very different car than when I bought it. As a matter of fact, while I've been talking to you, my phone gave me a little alert saying like software update available. I don't know what the update has. The release notes are, I mean, this literally just came in. So they're constantly adding little minor fixes. I guess they're doing something to full self-driving beta, which I don't think is very good, by the way. I have it until the end of the month. I'm not a fan. If you'd like me to talk more about that, comment down below and I will do a dedicated video on that, but I wouldn't bother with FSD. It's not worth the money. So it looks like something with the driving visualization improvements, cabin camera, Apple Podcasts, they just added that, which is great. Castle Doombad game, Tesla Arcade updates, cool, custom lock sounds, automatic 911 calls, speed cameras on your route, thank you Tesla, trip planner on mobile app, alternative routes while driving, more cameras and live camera view. That's really neat. With the Sentry mode, you can view now more cameras to get a better, like almost 360 view of what your car is seeing even when you're not there. Automatic blind spot camera, which is great. I guess they updated the light show, big whoop. Autopilot suspension. For maximum safety and accountability, use of autopilot features will be suspended if improper usage is detected. So that has to do with like the most recent like recall, which was all done over the air. So it wasn't really a recall. I would just call it a mandatory software update that everyone had to do. Whatever. Cabin camera, over the air recall. Here it is. So they improved visibility of driver monitoring, warning alerts, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Minor updates. They did something with title playlists. And it's great. You know, it's constantly changing. And I think the software updates are pretty cool. Just like with your phone though, sometimes they take stuff away that you're like, hey, I like that. But that's just kind of how it goes. Overall maintenance costs. There have been no maintenance costs. Really, the only thing I've done is 2 tire alignments, or wheel alignments, sorry. I just got a new set of tires. I thought it was a good idea to get the car aligned. And probably at like 10 or 11 months, I did an alignment because my tires were wearing kind of on the inside and I wanted to, you know, eke a few more 1,000 miles out of them, which by the way, I got 53,000 miles out of my Hancooks. Not bad. And those are the tires that came with the car. I've since replaced them with Nokian tires. There's a video on that. It is by no means a sponsored video. I paid full price for everything. And so out the door for those tires with an alignment, I think it was around $1,100. It's in my video. They're really nice tires. They're very soft and quiet, but they use more energy on my car. My buddy Ernest tells me that, and hi Ernest, by the way, he tells me that his efficiency actually improved with the Nokians. Mine has not, however. Out of 2,500 miles, I'm up to 271 watt hours per mile, whereas before I was at like 250 watt hours per mile. So I'm not sure why that is, but I'm not going as far on charge. So I'm not sure I'm going to get Nokians a second time. We'll just have to see how these kind of play out over the next year and how the tread life is. So I'll have to like do a cost analysis and figure out what makes the most sense. Because the Hancooks were really good tires. They were noisier, but they were more efficient and they handled better. But they're way more expensive. So I don't know, man. I got to figure this out. But so far the Nokians, they're really good tires. So I'm not upset with them. They're just not quite as efficient as I would like. But that's been the only cost really. So just the 2 alignments, which was like $125 each. So it's like $250. And then of course a set of tires. But you know, after 53,000 miles in any car, you would need a set of tires, and it's usually about $1,000. So I really can't complain about that. That's about right. I haven't done any oil changes, so that's cool. Let's talk about issues, of which I have had quite a few. I will say this particular car, I don't think was made by their best people on a Wednesday. I think it was maybe, made by the B team on Friday afternoon, because it has not fit together very well for whatever reason. This roof had to be replaced because it was leaking water, and it ruined my headliner. And then I had it replaced, and it started leaking again. So I've had 2 headliners and 2 roofs. I had a repeater camera. The passenger side front went out because of water. I've had water in pretty much all the lenses at some point, although it has evaporated, so I guess it's within spec. My trunk wasn't quite aligning properly. All of this was fixed at no charge, by the way, so I don't mean to throw shade at Tesla. I know a lot of people get upset. And again, I'm not like pounding my fist on the desk here. I'm just telling you what happened. So the tail lenses were rubbing when the trunk would close. Had that fixed. Now the trunk doesn't line up as well. Whatever. They're not super well made, if I'm honest. The dashboard rattles. I had it fixed. It still rattles. The rear deck lid rattles. I had it fixed. It rattles still. They really tried. Shout out to my tech, Robert, who I'm sure isn't watching, but he worked really hard on this car to fix all of my concerns. He was awesome. And so I don't mean to be ungrateful by any means. He gave 110% and did a really fabulous job. It's just like the way these cars are made. I think there are some problems that are just unsolvable sometimes. So anyway, that still rattles. He resealed the roof, and it seems to actually be sealed this time, which is great. And I think that's pretty much all the problems I've had. The drivetrain has been rock solid. No issues whatsoever. Like I said, it still drives exactly like new. I really can't tell you a difference. I'm sure the suspension is a little more tired, but it still drives great, and the performance is fantastic. And the charging has been great. I mean, and it's really comfortable. All the materials have held up. Nothing. The steering wheel still looks good. Seat still looks good. Door card still looks good. All of that has to do with like how well you treat your car. I don't do a great job of like keeping this thing spotless. It's usually pretty dirty, if I'm honest. But I try to be careful with the touch materials and try not to be too hard-handed on anything. And everything's held up great. So the driver's seat still looks practically brand new, just a little dirty. And my kids love the car, so that's really cool. But yeah, it's just, there's some rattles, there's some squeaks. What are you gonna do? But everything still works, and it drives great. So let's talk about overall satisfaction. Spoiler alert, I love the car. I absolutely adore it. There's not a day when I get in this car and go like, oh man, I can't believe I have to drive the Model 3 again. I love driving this car. The seats are great. The stereo is wonderful. Shout out to my friend John, who was on the design team for the infotainment. I love the infotainment system, big screen, it's beautiful. This thing is great on a twisty road. It could be better, but it's pretty awesome, considering it's a commuter car. Performance is awesome. Autopilot or basic autopilot works really well. And the aftermarket support is great. Like I've mentioned some of my favorite accessories, like from VION, check them out. And lots of companies that have reached out sending me stuff, and all of that stuff is just super fun for me. So it's a nice place to be. I spend all day in this car and I love it. The heated seats are great. I just, I drive it everywhere, and I really have not had any significant complaints in terms of just overall comfort and satisfaction. Car is wonderful. So love it. And it's my precious. Now we're going to talk about what I don't like, because I got to be honest, man. The cost. This is on me, not on anybody else, but I bought it at the peak of the market. That was stupid. That's on me. But that's kind of like one of the things that I hate about owning a Tesla, is that like it's a volatile market. The prices are constantly changing. So your resale value is constantly changing, and I've devalued the car a lot by driving it a bunch, but then it's devalued itself even more because Elon decided to lower the prices again and again and again. And then there are all these rebates that I didn't get. So I didn't get a very good deal in terms of like, you know, cost value, whatever. I mean, it could have been worse. You know, I have a friend with a Model S Plaid and he paid $150,000 for it, which you can now buy for like 90. So, I mean, you know, those folks that bought the Model X and the Model S at the peak, they're holding a bigger L than me, but it's still something that I'm not happy about. I don't think it's very cool. And I think Tesla should do something for all of us that, you know, put our faith in the brand and we're early adopters and bought these things at peak value. I mean, of course they don't have to, but I just think it would be nice. I would love to get the new Model 3 Highland, which was just announced, but like, there's no way I can do that after all of these price cuts were done on my car. So that's kind of a bummer. I'm not happy with that. The registration cost here in the state of California, I think I paid $730 for registration. That's insane. I don't like that. That's not the car's fault, but you know, not happy. The insurance cost, very high. So be sure you're considering that if you're going to get a Tesla. The quality of materials used, like the paint could be a little thicker on the front, you know, in the front bumper. I've got a lot of rock chips and a lot of missing paint up there. The interior, like, it's fine. Could be nicer, you know, and it should be nicer for the money. The carpet is really cheap. So just, you know, again, none of this is like a deal breaker. It's just like, it's just a thing. But yeah, I wish the interior looked a little more the price I paid for it. But it's utilitarian. It does the job. Those are just some minor gripes. So, you know, all things considered, I really love the car. I wish I had bought it at a different time when it was cheaper. I think if I had paid, you know, $10,000 less for it, I would be way happier with it. But all that being said, when I bought it, it seemed like a good deal, and I'm glad I have it. It's really been a great car. It's been really good for the channel, and you know, it's kept me and my family safe through some like really horrendous rain and all kinds of different weather. So it's a really good car, and you know, I'm grateful to have one of the safest cars on the road. That's a really good thing. So anyway, that's about all I have for you on my update video. 55,000 miles in 15 months, and we'll just call it the 1 year plus review. And I'll try and do another one in like 6 months, kind of see where we're at mileage wise and see if anything's changed. But there you have it, folks. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Be sure to check the links in the description. I'll have a Tesla referral code if you're thinking about ordering one. Help me out. Use my referral link so I can get more supercharger miles. I'd appreciate that. And also I'll have links to some of my favorite Tesla products there if you want to outfit yours with some cool stuff. So there you have it. Thanks again for watching. And until next time, stay driven.
Perfect.